Good afternoon. Welcome to Midcap Radar. I'm Sonal Bhutra. With me, as always, is Vivek Iyer. It is a day where we are seeing green across our screen, something that we saw in the global markets as well. So this was expected. A lot of earnings and the reactions have been very sharp as well. We'll discuss all that on the show today.
You're absolutely right. Earnings coming in thick and fast, and that's keeping the markets very, very active. But quite a lot lined up on the show. Let's start off with the top headlines. A surge in US equities overnight powers up Indian stocks. Realty, auto, and IT lead the charge, while FMCG lags. Banks are the relative underperformers.
NBCC gains after winning a 15,000 crore rupee order for development of satellite township in Jammu and Kashmir from Srinagar Development Authority. The stock is up nearly 8%.
Trend surges over 10% to a record high on strong Q1 earnings performance. Revenues rises 56% on a year-on-year basis, while margins expand to 15%.
Godfrey Phillips shares gain over 6% after Q1 cigarette volumes grew by 26.2% from last year, which is higher than peers. ITC and VST Industries revenues also rise 12%.
Ola Electric debuts with gains, making it the only listed pure EV two-wheeler company. The street now looks forward to the unveiling of its e-bike plan on August 15th. The management tells CNBC TV 18 that focus is to build profitable growth.
Okay, it is a day of a lot of firsts. As Vivek just said, Ola Electric listed on the exchanges, the first EV maker to do so. A lot of reactions to earnings as well. The mid-cap index is doing well. So we have the mid-caps up around 0.9%. It's in line with what the benchmarks are doing as well. So the Nifty is up around 250 points. The advance decline ratio in favor of the advances as well. A lot of earnings related reaction that we are seeing right now. And we are towards the fag end of the earnings season as well. Nifty Auto seeing big gains. And almost all the sectoral indices are in the green today. So that is the kind of market that we are looking at. However, that gap between advances and declines, that's narrowed down a bit. But so far, nothing to worry. But we'll have to see whether we see these levels stabilizing in the last 1 hour of trade as well.
That's right. Hoping to end the week with gains. It's been a very volatile trading week. A couple of stocks to just have a look. The companies that just delivered their numbers. First on the list is Trent. The stock has gained 10% after declaring a very strong set of numbers. Zydus Life Sciences is the other stock that's done very well after its results, and Alkem Labs seen a very volatile move after just declaring its results a couple of minutes ago. But this is our special segment, Midcap Movers, where Hormaz is at the wall to take us through the midcaps that are moving around in the session.
We'll definitely look to end the week on a high are the bulls, and it is showing up on the screen as well. A lot of stocks advancing compared to those on the losing end. So we'll start off with some of the gainers today. Affle India among the top gainers today, 5.5% higher, as is Oil India. Positive commentary post earnings. Oracle Financial market cap nearing 1 lakh crore, and Suzlon third day of gains and market cap crossing 1 lakh crore in today's trading session. So 76 on the screen now for Suzlon. Earnings reactions continue. We are at the fag end of the earnings season, as you mentioned. Trent, of course, the stock of the day, preferably very strong numbers, 10% higher now, record high for the stock as well, market cap back above 2 lakh crore. But RVNL and SAIL, disappointing results, seeing some bit of cuts. RVNL saw cuts yesterday as well, and Page Industries, after some negative brokerage commentary, seeing some bit of pressure in today's session. The shrimp feed stocks have come up again in today's session. Avanti Feeds is up 11% now at the highest point of the day, nearing 750. Waterbase and Apex Frozen Foods also seeing healthy gains in today's session. And lastly, stocks that are doing well on the back of volumes. KFin Technologies, now the stock is set for its best week of 2024. It's up already 18% so far this week. Bombay Burma and NBCC, after that order win, is also seeing healthy gains on the back of very strong volumes. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Hormaz, for joining us with that list. As always, hope you have a great Friday ahead. That's the mid-cap movers list. But as we've been talking about a lot of earnings coming in, Greaves Cotton is one of them, reported a good set of Q1 numbers. If we talk about the consolidated numbers, growth came in double digits, losses narrowed. The automotive engines business saw decent growth as well. The company has spoken about higher market share in the automotive business as well. To discuss this and more, we have Akhila Balchandar, the CFO at Greaves Cotton, joining us now to take a few questions. Ms. Balchandar, thank you so much for joining us today. And we are talking to you on a day where we have a pure play EV player getting listed on the exchanges as well. The electronic or the EV business is around 20% of your overall revenues. Wanted to understand what are the plans here with respect to growth? What is the annual run rate that you're looking at? When will you see it turning into black? And any more capex that you're planning here? Ma'am, I think you're on mute. Can you unmute yourself, please?
Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for having me on this day when one of the EV players is getting listed, and that too at a nice premium. We have done a lot of work in the last year, and I think the results are now playing out. If you remember, we started last year with some concerns. Over the year, we have addressed all the concerns of the MHI. We have worked with the government. And yesterday, we have been happy to share that MHI has communicated that our two-wheeler electric vehicles are eligible to be tested. So this gives us a lot of cheer. On the demand incentive side, our three-wheelers were already under the incentive scheme, and all this has played into our turnaround story. So I think this has been a wonderful quarter, both from a standalone and the consolidated performance, and
Right.
we should take it forward from here.
Right, ma'am. Ma'am, one thing we want to understand, you said that, the EV business and the EV vehicles from your stable are eligible. Are they eligible for the FAME subsidy? And number two, have you applied for a PLI in this particular segment? And, one question that investors have been asking, will you look to demerge this particular business at some point of time?
Let me take third one first. And yesterday we had a board meeting, and the boards of both the companies have discussed and deliberated this in detail. And as and when any further decisions are made, we will keep the exchanges informed. On the subsidy front, as I said, on the three-wheelers, our Ultra City Passenger and Ultra Cargo are already eligible under the MHI scheme. And yesterday we have received the communication that our two-wheeler vehicles, including the newly launched vehicles, are all eligible to be tested. So as and when we get the further information, we will continue to share with the exchanges and the investors.
Oh, okay, all right, we get that. So what are the growth prospects for the overall business looking like this year itself, Ms. Balchandar? You spoke about market share rising to around 57%. Volume growth, barring the e-mobility business, has been higher across businesses. What do you plan to end the year with? And in the standalone business, the margins are around 11%. Do you think you'll do better than that, or is that the number that you're aiming?
In terms of growth, if you take our performance over the last 3 to 4 years, we have been growing at a healthy pace. Year on year, we have grown at 12%. And from an organizational perspective, we are working, if you look back at our transformation strategy, we have been putting a lot of effort on diversifying our product portfolio, the application portfolio, and also the geographical spread of the company. All this is playing out, and this process is an ongoing one, and we hope to keep momentum in the journey.
And what about the margins? So you're saying 12% growth, that is something that you will continue in FY25 as well. And what happens with margins?
Margin improvement has again been a very strong focus that we have been working on. Again, if you see the journey compared to last year and the year before, we've consistently improved our margins. And this has been on account of a lot of focus on improving our product mix, our diversification strategy, and internal operational efficiencies. Yes, we will target to maintain our margins in the region of 11 to 13%. And this is what we have consistently communicated and we are working towards.
Okay, so 11 to 13% is where you see that particular margin band at. Now, the next question is very interestingly, yesterday in your presentation, you said that you have introduced CPCB4 compliant, diesel gensets. So what is the kind of growth trajectory you see over there, given the fact that there has been significant pre-buy already as far as the previous gensets were concerned? What is the kind of guidance you can give us over there? And number two, as far as the demerger of the EV mobility business is concerned, any timelines that you are looking at?
Okay, let me take the first question. In terms of the gensets, it's a good market and the industry overall has also been growing. And in terms of applications, today most of the industries, there is a need for the gensets. the infrastructure program of the government, including the railways program, that requires a good demand. So there we are very comfortable, and we will hope to capitalize on the momentum in the industry as well.
Any internal targets you're working with for
We
the
do
genset bill?
have, of course, yes. We do have a very robust internal target. We have a plan set out. As a company, we will not be able to give the guidance. In terms of the demerger of the EV business, again, as I said, this is something being discussed and deliberated by the boards. And as and when any firm decisions are taken, we will definitely share with the investors.
And just following up on my colleagues' questions as well, any timeline for the demerger? You deliberated on it. We are asking about it because the street is very bullish about the e-mobility business, and they just want to understand the company's plans with this one.
I will not be able to comment. As I said, we will need the board will definitely take
Okay.
a decision at the time. What I would like to share is, as a group, we are very focused on building profitable and sustainable business. The EV business, given last year's journey, we're very focused to bring it back on its path to profitability. The traction is there. We are sharing those results on a quarterly basis with all the investors, and the board will definitely take the right time when they believe that it's.
Ma'am, I want to squeeze in one more quick question. We got that, we got your plans as far as the EV business is concerned. Ma'am, retail appears to have contributed. What is it that you're looking from the retail business? Could you quickly share some financial parameters you've set for yourself in terms of guidance for FY25?
Retail is again another business that is core to our diversification strategy. There we are now focused on the parts, not just for our own products, but also for EV spare part.
Okay, all right. Looks like there is some technical glitch. We were looking forward to that answer, but thank you, Ms. Balachandar, for joining us today and patiently answering all those questions. That's the word coming in from Greaves Cotton. We'll have to slip into a short break. When we come back, we'll discuss the market technicals with Hemain Kapadia of KR Choksey Securities. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to Midcap Radar. Let's now welcome Hemain Kapadia from KR Choksey Securities for a technical check on the market. Good afternoon, Hemain. Thank you so much for joining us. What is the market looking at currently, and what are your top picks for the day?
Hello, Vivek. Very good afternoon. Thank you for having me. Such a pleasure. Market's going nowhere. The relative strength, 24,000 breaks. Only and only then do we see downside. Oversold, banks bouncing back. Weeks slowly coming off. So we're trying to cover up the gap. Currently, nothing spectacular, but the downside seems a bit protected, at least for a few days. And a couple of individual stocks, Vivek, I think, which can sort of outperform or at least do better. Firstly, a buy call on Chambal Fertilizer. We have been corrective for multiple weeks now. Downside appears limited. Mechanical indicators on the daily chart have given a crossover buy. Stocks looks set for a breakout. It hasn't come in yet, but the stage is set. So one can buy Chambal at 518, stop loss 498, target 558. And secondly, a buy call on Mahindra & Mahindra Financial Services Way. Almost same logic. We've been consolidating for multiple weeks, 7-8 weeks or so. Everything is turning positive. 1 year correction coming to an end. So one can buy M&M Financial Services at 298, stop loss 283, and target of 328, Vivek.
Okay, thank you so much, Hemain, for joining us and giving us those levels and technical picks. That's the technical check on the markets. We'll slip into a short break. When we come back, we'll focus on markets and talk about trend. It is buzzing in trade and how the stock is up 12% as we speak on the back of numbers. We'll get the analysis when we come back. Welcome back. You're still tuned into Midcap Radar. The stock to focus on definitely is Trent. It's firing up in trade after reporting a strong set of Q1 numbers. The stock is up already more than 100% in 2024. Mangalam is joining us with the analysis. Mangalam, what's working for Trent?
Well, Zudio is working for Trent. In the last 6 months, the stock has doubled, but in the previous 6 months also it had doubled. So over the last 1 year, last 12 months, it's actually moved around 3.5 times, and it's a snowball that keeps rolling. If you look at the revenues of the company, 4,100 crores. This compares with the street expectations of 3,800 crores. The EBITDA came in above 600 crores. The street was working with a number just shy of that 600 crore mark as well. And as a result of which, the net profit too has beat street expectations by a wide margin. But that does not tell you the entire story. In a quarter which was weak for the retail and consumer sentiment itself, year on year, the company's reported 56% jump in the revenue, 66% jump in the EBITDA, 90 basis points improvement in the margin, and wait for it, 135% jump in the profits as well. They are constantly expanding their store footprint, so they've added 6 Westside and 16 Zudio stores. Remember when Zudio started a few years ago, it was much lower in size than Westside, the number of size, but now we have 559 Zudio stores and 228 Westside stores itself, and they have 36 other formats as well. Most notably of them, the one which is on an expansion spree is the food and grocery business. The company said fashion concepts have registered a double-digit like-for-like growth, which is a positive. Beauty, personal care and innerwear, which is their emerging segments, has grown faster, now accounts for nearly 20% of their standalone sales. And add to that, there has been another development as well, which could bring in about 105 crores to their books, which is basically they will tender about 1.4 lakh Inditex shares that they hold. Inditex basically is the joint venture that they have with Zara for a buyback at around 7,500 rupees per share, which gives them about 105 crores. As of the last annual report, they held about 3.17 lakh shares in Inditex itself. The only problem, the valuations. It was expensive 6 months ago, it was expensive 6 years ago, but even now at 120 times, it is not particularly cheap. And the street expects that if the EPS growth continues, then maybe the company will continue to hold on to these valuations. The most important trigger going forward is that there could be a possible Nifty inclusion. With today's up move as well, the stock has hit the market cap of 2 lakh crore. But now as you look at it, from the last close, there have been counter reports telling you that this may be well part of the Nifty in the next inclusion that comes about.
Thank you so much for that, Mangalam, throwing light on what's actually worked for Trent this time around. But another stock on the radar is Zydus Lifesciences, another strong set of numbers from the company. Ekta joins us with more details.
Thanks for that. Well, yes, Zydus is in focus because it came out with a good set of numbers, but it was largely expected. So that's the reason why you're not seeing a huge move in the stock. Now, the reason for that is that the strong quarter was expected to be driven by stable pricing pressure, the contribution of Revlimid generic, and a couple of other drugs, especially the launch of Mybetriq generic, which is used for overactive bladders. So the revenue was up around 20.8% year on year. EBITDA was up to around 2,884 odd crores, which was better than estimates of around 1,600 crores. Margins 33.6% and profit of around 1,419 odd crores. Now, in terms of the key segments, revenue was up 12% in India. It was flat on a Q1Q basis, but up in double digits year on year. Consumer wellness was up around 20.6% year on year. US sales were at $371 million. Compare this to $304 million last quarter and $298 million same time last year. So that was primarily because of the kind of launches that they had in the quarter. Mybetriq generic, for example, they launched in both the strengths and was the only company to do so. So that's the reason why you're seeing such a strong performance come in for Zydus this quarter.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much for that analysis, Ekta. That's Zydus for you. But we have completely run out of time on Midcap Radar today. Stay tuned, your stocks when we return.